This is a video demonstration of Invoice Manager, an electronic invoice presentment and payment platform built directly into the Pineapple Payments Gateway. We're going to look at options for creating invoices, running payments against those invoices, and some reporting tools for after those transactions have been processed. To get started, I need to upload invoice data into the system, and there are 3 different ways to do that. 1, I can go to the Integrations tab on the main navigation where I see there is an Invoice Manager API. This means I can have an outside system integrated to dynamically send invoice data to the platform. Alternatively, I can go to my second method, which would be to go to Invoice Manager and click on Upload New Invoices. Here I have an option of creating a spreadsheet which has invoice data for many customers and many invoices that I can upload all in one shot. The third and final option is I can click on Manage Customers, do a search for my customers, and then click the button that says Add New Invoice. Here I see a graphical representation of an invoice, including my own custom logo and the customer's data pre-populated from the information that was already in the system. The only thing that I would need to fill out is the invoice number, specific information like the invoice date, net terms, and the items that make up this particular invoice. Those are the 3 different ways that I can get invoice data into the system. Again, an API integration, an upload of a spreadsheet, or a manual creation via this portal. Here I'm on the View Invoice page, where I can see there are several different ways to run transactions against invoices. First of all, I can do it myself manually as a merchant. From this grid, I can click on the cash icon on any invoice where I'll be taken to the virtual terminal with all of the pertinent data from that invoice pre-populated, including, of course, the invoice number. As an alternative, I can have my cardholder fill out the transaction and process the payment online. One of the ways is after an invoice has been created, I can automatically send them a link to pay. An email would be sent to the address on file with customer data that looks similar to what you see here. Inside the email, I have the option to click on the payment link, where we'll open up a dynamic form generated by the gateway, which keeps me out of scope for PCI compliance, and it has my logo at the top. The rest of the data has been pre-populated from the invoice, so all my customer needs to do is plug in their card number, expiration date, and process the transaction. Alternatively, I can email my customer with login credentials for the gateway that lets them access their own portal of Invoice Manager to see not just that one invoice, but in fact many invoices. Here's the Invoice Manager customer view, where my dashboard shows the invoices that I have, the payment methods that I have on file, as well as an aging grid where I can see how old the money is. One of the options here is to manage the cards that I have on file. As a customer, I can have as many cards on file as I'd like, and then also go to the Pay Bills section where I can see those individual invoices and choose those different payment methods for running my transactions. By default, the system is going to ask for a full payment, but based on my merchant settings, I'll allow for a partial payment. And then I can choose which invoice I'd like to pay. I'll pay both invoices, but one of them I'd like to pay in the future. So I'll select today's date on one, and then select a future date a couple of weeks from now for the other. Once I've got the options set the way that I'd like, I click Review Payments, and it will show me a summary of the payment I'm about to make, and I can click Confirm the transaction. My $40 partial payment for today has been processed now, while separately I've created a scheduled payment for my other invoice. I can go see that on the Scheduled Payments list. I can see a list of any scheduled payments for the future with options to cancel them if I'd like. And I can also go to the history page to do a search for any transactions I've already processed, like the $40 partial payment that we just ran. Lastly, I have an option to update my profile, which would be written back to Invoice Manager for a permanent change to my records, including key information like addresses, phone numbers, and emails. From there, I can go back to the system as a merchant, go to Modules, and select Invoice Manager in order to do some of the reporting after my transactions have been processed. In this case, I'll click on View Reports, where I can look at transactions by payment, transactions by invoice, as well as an aging report. The aging report, if I just do a search without any criteria, will show me all customers with a cumulative total for everything they have currently due, 30, 60, and 90 days past due, and grand totals as well. My other reporting option, to look at transactions by payment, would allow me to do a search to look at different transactions that I've processed, and click on the icon, this little arrow, which will show me the different invoices to which that payment applied. On the flip side of it, If I go back to viewing the reports, I can click on Transactions by Invoice, where a search will show me the list of invoices that I've processed and then the payments which were applied against them. And that is a summary of the different options for creating invoices, running transactions against invoices, and viewing reports after those transactions have been processed. For more information, please contact your Pineapple Payments sales representative.